Laughter at the Galactic Council chamber was bright and full. More than 60 species had gathered on the floating station called Unity Core. Orbiting a golden sun, every seat was filled, holographic banners flew above, showing peace and unity across the stars. But Earth had no banner. Earth had no speaker. Only one human stood there, Ambassador Kalen, quiet, with hands behind his back. He had been invited, but not respected. Most of the council members didn't even look at him. They laughed instead. He comes from a backwater planet, joked the reptilian delegate from Volume Track. Earth, please, sneered a tall, silver-skinned senator. They build nothing, they send nothing, they say nothing. The laughter grew louder. Kalen stood still. He didn't argue, he didn't raise his voice. His face was calm, but his eyes held something the council missed. Warning. A younger delegate leaned toward the others. What military force does Earth even have? He asked, laughing. The room shook with humor. They have cargo ships, they can barely protect their own moon. Humans are old news. Even the chairperson, a wise leader from the Crayon species, gave a small smile. Earth's silence has always been their answer. Perhaps they are no longer interested in galactic matters. At that moment, Kalen finally spoke. His voice was soft but clear. We stayed silent, he said, because we had no reason to speak. The room quieted just a little, but now, Kalen continued, you've given us one. He turned, walked out of the chamber and said, nothing more. Far away, above the dark side of Earth, something massive began to wake. Hidden inside a hollowed-out moon, deep within the rock, lay a ship that no one outside Earth knew still existed. Its name was TSS Nemesis. Its surface was black as space. Its size was large enough to hold cities. Its systems had been asleep for 300 years. Until now, a signal reached its core. Kalen's voice, encoded in old Earth command code. The ship responded, Nemesis online, threat level confirmed. Awaiting permission to rise. Earth's High Command sent one word back, proceed. The next day, deep space sensors across 4 sectors picked up strange activity above Earth. Something was moving. Something big. The data was confusing. The readings didn't match any known ship class. It didn't use standard propulsion. It didn't emit heat. It just moved. Inside the Galactic Council's war room, alarms began to ping. What is that? A technician asked. It's not in the registry, another said. They zoomed in. The image on the screen showed something triangular, sleek, silent, and terrifying. The moment they saw it, the room fell quiet. That's not a satellite. That's a warship, a big one. From Earth. Meanwhile, the same council that laughed just days ago now held an emergency meeting. What is Earth doing? Asked the senator from Argon V. They've never shown tech like this, said another. Where did that ship come from? No one had answers because Earth had never shown this ship. It had never even told the galaxy it existed. Now it floated above the planet like a guardian or a warning. Its weapons were not active, but its presence was loud. So loud, it silenced everyone. Even the chairperson looked nervous now. Have we misjudged Earth? He asked quietly. The answer came not from Earth but from deep space. A second signal, a second ship. Another Titan-class Terran warship exited from behind Mars. Its code name, Obsidian. This time, it did broadcast one thing. To those who laughed, consider this our reply. On hundreds of planets, news spread fast. Screens lit up with the image of the Earth ship blocking sunlight over cities. Ships paused in their travel. Military leaders began updating threat levels. The aliens who once mocked Earth now whispered in fear. If they kept this ship secret, how many more do they have? Why now? What else are they hiding? But Earth said nothing. Not yet. The sky over Earth was no longer peaceful. It was Terran territory now. At the edge of the galaxy, a young alien cadet asked his captain, why did the humans build something like that and never use it? The captain stared at the screen showing the Terran ship. He answered with a quiet voice, they didn't need to show it until we gave them a reason. The cadet looked again at the warship. And in that moment, across the galaxy, no one was laughing anymore. Signal in the dark. TSS Nemesis hovered above Earth like a sleeping giant now fully awake. But the galaxy still didn't understand what it was. Some thought it was a bluff. Others believed it was Earth's only weapon. They were wrong. Far beyond Earth's orbit, in places the council had forgotten, old machines began to move. Terran vaults, buried in asteroids and moons, came to life. They had waited in silence for centuries, built not to explore, but to respond. And someone had just triggered the signal. It began in Sector Juno 5, a quiet patch of stars near the edge of mapped space. A long-abandoned mining station floated alone, drifting cold. For 300 years, it had shown no signs of life. Then lights flickered on. Inside its center chamber, a black sphere spun slowly. A soft pulse spread across the void, coded in ancient Terran language. Echo protocol active. Shadow fleet awakening. All units prepare for return. The pulse didn't stop at Juno-5. It traveled faster than light, hitting beacons buried on icy moons, under alien deserts, and inside forgotten Terran outposts. And everywhere it reached, ships woke up. In a dead system filled with black holes. A cloaked ship powered on. It had no name, only a purpose. Its onboard AI opened its mission file for the first time in 400 years. It read, "If Earth is mocked, if silence is broken, show them what waits in the dark." The ship cloaked again, but this time it moved, headed for Council space. Meanwhile, at Unity Core, the Galactic Council scrambled. The first Terran battleship was enough to shake the room. But now, dozens of new signals were being picked up. The technicians stared at their screens in disbelief. Multiple unidentified Terran signals coming from locations we thought were abandoned. They're not just activating, they're coordinating. How long have they been there? The answer shocked them. Some of these codes are 500 years old. The chairperson stood up, her voice unsteady. "You mean Earth has been building a hidden fleet for centuries?" "Why?" someone asked, almost in a whisper. No one answered. But Ambassador Kalen already knew. He was no longer at Unity Core, he was back on Earth, watching the sky turn black with returning ships. In orbit around Earth, the Nemesis received the updated fleet list. Its systems scanned each arriving vessel, checking readiness, system health, and deployment history. Over 90% of the fleet responded, operational, combat ready, awaiting orders. Commander Rhea, newly awakened from cryosleep, walked through the bridge of the Nemesis. She looked at the growing list. She didn't smile. She didn't speak. She simply nodded to the AI. "Let them see who we really are." In the colonies closest to Earth, civilians looked up and saw something they'd never seen before. Massive ships, unmarked, beautiful, deadly. No lights flashed, no sounds echoed, but the sky was no longer empty. Earth's sky had changed. At the Council's Secret War Division, fear began to turn into desperation. "We need to know how many ships they have," said a general. "If we can count them, we can build a response." "Too late," replied a younger analyst. He showed a screen where Terran ships had been marked but then cloaked. "Over half the fleet is using stealth tech we can't detect. They could be anywhere." The room fell quiet. "We are not dealing with the Earth we thought we knew." On a small alien world, far from the center of power, a merchant watched the news on a dusty screen. He had once sold Terran goods back when humans were seen as simple traders. Now, he watched their ships arrive like gods returning to a battlefield. He turned to his daughter and said, "The humans we mocked, they never argued, they just waited. And now, they are done waiting." The last signal of the day came from the edge of Terran space. It was short. Cold. Final. Broadcast on every frequency, in every language. Earth was silent. "You mistook that for weakness. Now listen to the silence as it moves." The laugh dies first. Galactic Council had stopped laughing, but the Empire had not. On the other side of the galaxy, General Rovik of the Varn Dominion still believed Earth was a joke. He watched the reports of Earth's growing fleet with a smirk. "They want us to fear a few sleeping ships," he said to his officers. "Let's see what happens when we knock on their door." He ordered a fleet of 20 fast attack cruisers, small, powerful, and fast, not for war, just to observe, just to remind Earth who ruled the stars. They called it a recon mission. But they went in with weapons charged. The cruisers jumped into orbit near Earth. They expected to find one or two Terran ships. They found hundreds. Each Terran vessel was positioned like a silent wall in space. Their black holes reflected no light, no insignias, no sound. Just power. The Varn fleet paused, but General Rovik gave the command, "Approach slowly, let's test their reaction." The lead Varn cruiser activated a low-level scan. Just a scan, nothing more. That was enough. The Terran ship closest to them turned without thrusters, without delay. It rotated smoothly, like it had been watching the whole time. One blue light blinked beneath its hull. "Warning, hostile action detected, stand down." The Varn cruiser ignored it and moved closer. The light turned red. "Final warning," they laughed. And then they died. No flash, no beam, no explosion. Just silence. The lead Varn ship disappeared. One moment it was there, the next, only empty space remained. The rest of the fleet panicked. Weapons online, engines full power. But it was too late. The Terran ship moved again, too fast for eyes, too smooth for scanners. 3 more Varn ships vanished. 2 were sliced into clean halves. The remaining fleet tried to run. Only 1 ship made it out alive. Back in the Empire's war room, Rovik watched the feed collapse into static. Then a single video clip came through from the surviving ship. It showed the moment the Terran ship moved. No sound, just perfect destruction. Rovik stared at the screen. He didn't speak, he didn't blink. He just sat back in his chair, heart pounding. And for the first time he felt fear. At the Council station, the news spread like wildfire. Earth destroyed a recon fleet in seconds. No warning, no negotiations. They said stop. We didn't. Now they've answered. The same council members who once mocked Earth now sat in silence. Even the chairperson whispered. What are they? An ancient voice answered. It was Elian, the historian. He stood in the corner, holding a dusty book. They are not warriors. They are not conquerors. They are a memory built into metal. And someone just told that memory to wake up. On the bridge of the TSS Nemesis, Commander Rhea looked at the tactical map. It showed the scattered remains of the Varn fleet. No joy in her face. No rage either, only focus. They wanted a test, she said. Now they know, the AI responded. More fleets are mobilizing. Empire Command has placed Earth at high threat status. Rhea nodded once. Good, let the galaxy finally see what silence was hiding. That night, across a dozen worlds, children asked their parents why everyone looked scared. Because, they said, the sky just changed. And the quiet planet, the one we all ignored, is no longer quiet. One alien broadcaster said it best. The first laugh has died. Now we wait to see who's next. Who woke the Titan? The galaxy was no longer guessing. Earth was no longer weak. And the battleship Nemesis was no longer alone. From old Terran starfields to long-forgotten moons, powerful ships were rising like ghosts from the past. No lights, no sound, just presence. The council didn't know where these ships were built. They didn't know how long they had waited, but now, one question echoed in every chamber. On every world, who woke the Titan? Back on Earth, under the surface of a mountain range, a massive hidden vault opened for the first time in centuries. Inside it, quiet, glowing, was the original control core for the Titan-class ships. The name on the screen, Project Cold Crown. The file was old. Older than the council itself, built not for war, but for ending wars. The idea was simple. If peace failed and the stars turned against humanity, Earth would never beg. Earth would simply unleash the Titans. Each Titan-class ship had its own personality, its own rules, and its own memory. These were not machines, they were judges. Ambassador Kalen stood alone in that vault now. He touched the control console. The system recognized his voice. Identity confirmed. Earthline Alpha. Command authority accepted. Titan fleet awakening. Kalen whispered, let them see. He didn't need to say more. The system knew what he meant. On distant screens, the council watched in horror. More ships. Bigger ships, each one with armor made of unknown alloys. Each one older than their oldest war records. A quiet voice in the chamber spoke. These aren't warships, they're punishments. Historian Elian stood again. He had read about these ships in the oldest text stories dismissed as myth. The Titans were sealed for a reason, he said. Even Earth feared them. They said, if ever opened, they would not stop until the galaxy remembered Earth's name. One council member stood up, eyes wide, but Earth was peaceful. They signed every treaty, they followed every law. Elian looked down. Yes, because they were giving us a chance. The largest Titan yet, TSS Eclipse, moved into orbit near Mars. Its design was ancient but untouched. Engines that hummed like thunder, a core that burned blue with unknown energy, and a message across its hull in old Earth script. We sleep so the stars may breathe, but we remember who lit the match. Inside the Nemesis, Commander Rhea stood before a digital wall that displayed every active Titan. 10 had already awakened. More were still buried. She stared at the blinking locations. Earth's outer colonies, moons disguised as barren, deep sea, vaults hidden in alien oceans. The AI beside her spoke. Project Cold Crown is complete. All Titan-class units are online. Orders? Rhea gave the answer Earth had waited centuries to speak. Show them the truth. The galaxy watched. And they didn't see ships. They saw judgment. Ships that didn't chase. Ships that didn't threaten. They simply appeared like memories returning to a guilty mind. On a quiet planet in the outskirts of council space, a child pointed up at the sky. Father, she asked, is that a Terran ship? The man's hands trembled. Yes. What does it mean? He didn't answer because he didn't know. Because no one knew anymore what Earth was truly capable of. And that fear spread faster than any war. The final message from the Nemesis was short. It echoed on every system. You asked if Earth had power. You asked if Earth had ships. Now ask yourself, why did we never use them until now? The mistake that broke the sky. The Galactic Empire couldn't stay silent anymore. Their fleets had watched the Titans awaken. Their colonies had seen Terran ships appear without warning. Their generals had begged for calm, but the Empire's pride refused to break. And so they made the mistake that shattered the sky. From the Empire's military command base on Vornax Prime, a massive war fleet was launched. Over 300 ships, battlecruisers, destroyers, dreadnoughts. Every ship equipped with the latest alien tech. Every crew ready for total war. Their mission, enter Earth's orbit, demand surrender, break the Terran line. If resisted, the commander of the fleet was Admiral Threx, known for burning 3 moons in one campaign. He sent a broadcast to the Terran system. You have shown your ships. You have shown your secrets. Now show us if you can survive. The message ended. The countdown began. The fleet jumped to Earth. They came in fast hyperspace ruptures opening above Mars. The Empire's warships arrived in waves, forming attack lines, shields raised, weapons locked. Then they stopped. In front of them, blocking Earth entirely, floated the Titans. 20 Terran warships. Each one silent, each one waiting. The biggest of them, TSS Eclipse, hovered closest, its black hole covered in quiet symbols, its engines off. Its core glowing. Admiral Threx laughed at first. They brought 20 ships against 300 fools. Then his scanners failed. Then his gravity went sideways. Then the stars themselves bent around the Titans. TSS Eclipse activated a system never seen by alien science. Phase shield collapse. Suddenly, the space around the Empire fleet cracked like glass breaking in slow motion. Enemy weapons malfunctioned. Targeting systems glitched. Engines lost power. The Eclipse broadcast one word: leave. Threx ordered fire. 300 ships launched their first volley. Thousands of missiles, plasma bolts, rail cannons, all flying straight toward the Titans, and all stopped. Mid-space. Frozen, held by gravity fields so precise, so advanced that the weapons hovered silently in place. Then without any sound the weapons turned around, fired back. The sky became fired. Empire ships exploded one by one, caught in their own redirected attacks. Some simply vanished, folded into nothing. Others tore apart from inside. The fleet didn't retreat. It collapsed. In under 3 minutes, the battle was over. From 300 ships, only 5 escaped. 5 broken vessels. One recorded feed. In it, a Vornax soldier whispered through blood, "They didn't fight us, they erased us." Back at the council, the feed arrived. All eyes watched the final moment. TSS Eclipse rising through the clouds untouched, surrounded by glowing debris, its crew silent. Someone whispered, "That wasn't war, that was justice." Another asked, "Why didn't Earth use this before?" Elian, the historian, answered softly, "Because they never wanted to. But now we've reminded them why they built it on Earth." Commander Rhea stood in the center of the Nemesis bridge. She looked at the damage report. Nothing. Nada. Scratch. Not a burn, just silence. "They thought we wouldn't respond," she said quietly. "Now they know we don't warn twice." Her AI replied, "The sky has changed. The galaxy is watching." She nodded once. "Let them watch, on a small colony world." A child stared up at the night sky for the first time in history. A Titan could be seen from the surface floating like a moon. The child asked her grandmother, "Are they coming for us?" The old woman smiled, tears in her eyes. "No, child. They're not coming to hurt us, they're coming to remind us that Earth never left. We just stopped looking up." Earth's silence ends. The galaxy had waited for Earth to speak. Now it did. And no one was ready for what they heard. After the fall of the Empire's war fleet, every system near Earth fell quiet. There were no more threats, no more scouts, no more mockery, only silence. But this time it wasn't Earth who was silent. It was everyone else. Because above Earth's surface floated a wall of Titans, giant black ships, older than most empires, still and watching, each one more terrifying than the last. And at their center, like a throne among kings, hovered TSS Nemesis. On board, Commander Rhea stood before a galaxy-wide broadcast system. The message had been prepared for centuries. Not a threat, not a war declaration, but a reminder. She gave the order, begin transmission, across thousands of planets, moons, and space stations. Screens lit up. Every language, every species, every voice translation system activated at once, and a simple phrase echoed through the stars. "You asked if Earth was silent because it was weak. Now we answer." The screen showed the Terran fleet in full formation hovering calmly above Earth. Then, Rhea's face appeared. No helmet. No armor. Just her, calm, direct, unshaken. "We stayed quiet because we believed in peace. We followed your laws, we honored your treaties, we stayed in the shadows and watched. And still you mocked us, you sent your ships to test us. You laughed in your councils, you pushed, and when we stood, you attacked." Her eyes narrowed slightly. "So now, you will remember, this is Earth. We do not conquer. We do not kneel. We end what should never have begun." Every viewer froze. Some wept, some trembled, but no one dared look away. Not when the screens changed, showing ancient Earth blueprints, old Titan maps, and hidden Terran colonies across space. Worlds once forgotten, vaults once sealed, now alive. Now ready, Rhea continued. "The Titans were not built to destroy. They were built to stop destruction. You've seen what one of our ships can do. Now ask yourself, how many you never saw coming?" The screen cut to black. Only text remained. Earth was silent. You mistook that for weakness. Now, you listen. On Council World, no one spoke. Leaders who had once mocked Earth now sat with shaking hands. The chairperson who once called humans unremarkable, leaned forward and whispered, "We never understood them, we never even tried." In orbit, the Titans did not move, they didn't need to because the message was louder than weapons. And for the first time in galactic memory, Earth didn't ask for a seat at the table. It built its own table. And now the galaxy asked permission to approach on a farming planet near the edge of known space. A young alien girl looked up at the stars. They said Earth was weak, she told her father. He nodded slowly. And Earth let them believe that, until now, the sky above them shimmered. A Terran recon ship passed silently overhead, black, fast, and glowing softly. It didn't stop. It didn't wave, but it didn't need to. Its presence was enough. In deep space, far beyond the stars, one last Titan ship woke from stasis. It had no name. Only a message on its hull: "We don't rise in anger, we rise when the stars forget." It turned toward Council territory, and the galaxy understood. Earth's silence had ended, and the reckoning had just begun. We are still here. The galaxy had changed, and Earth never moved. It didn't invade. It didn't conquer. It simply stood, and the stars trembled on the surface of Council Prime. The highest members of the Galactic Council gathered one last time, not to pass judgment, not to plan war, but to listen. A single Terran pod landed silently on their platform. No guards. No weapons. No army. Just a single human envoy, an old man with silver hair and calm eyes. He walked slowly, unafraid. His name was Marshall Arden. He carried no flag, only a tablet. He placed it on the table and played Earth's final message. A soft voice, recorded years before, echoed through the Grand Chamber. "This is not about war. This is not revenge. This is memory. You forgot what we are. You forgot who walked the stars before you called yourselves rulers. We are not the past, we are the warning." The screen showed Earth, not its armies, but its people. Farmers. Engineers. Children playing under the glow of distant Titans. Then the voice spoke one last time. "We are still here. We never left. We only waited until someone knocked too loud on the wrong door." Back in orbit, the Terran fleet began to move, not toward the galaxy, but away from it. Returning to silence, returning to sleep, the Titans left no trail. No threat. Only the memory of what they could do. And the fear of what they chose not to. In homes across star systems, children studied history differently. Their books now told of the silent world. Of Earth, the planet that hid its power and peace. Of Titans sleeping in starlight. Of a war that never truly happened because Earth didn't let it. Even the Varn Empire, the once proud rulers, fell quiet. Their remaining leaders sent an official message to Earth: "We acknowledge your strength. We request no conflict." Earth replied with only two words: "We accept." On a quiet hill on Earth, Commander Rhea stood alone, watching the stars. The AI voice spoke beside her. Galactic Council status: normalized, threat level minimal, public opinion reverent. She didn't answer right away, just looked up. She whispered, "They all saw the Titans." "Yes," said the AI, "they saw enough." In deep space, one last beacon blinked on, a new signal. A new message. Broadcast not in warning, but in memory. "To those who forgot us, remember. To those who feared us, rest. To those who come in peace, welcome." Because Earth was never gone. It had simply waited. Watched. And now, it was awake.